Supply Chain Now here at SAPICS 2025, the annual conference in beautiful Cape Town, South Africa. And as we continue our coverage here of the conference, I'm joined by two incredible professionals that we get a chance to learn from here today. And that is Tiwonge Batze, independent supply chain consultant. Great to see you, Tiwonge. How you doing? Back again, huh?
Back again. It's good to see you.
And your friend Katrina Tyson. Katrina, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
And you serve as the supply chain practice lead for Health for Development. Is that right?
That's correct.
Outstanding. It was great to see you both. And we've got some good stuff to get into here today. But you know where we're going to start? We're going to start talking travel, because both of y'all have traveled a good bit. And while Tiwonge, I think you're getting a little less time in the air, which is rare for you. Katrina, you're getting a little more time in the air, I believe. And you know, the great thing about travel is, besides the great new friends that you meet and develop relationships with, it teaches us all kinds of lessons, right? All kinds of lessons. So I want to ask you both, and Tiwonge, I'm going to start with you. What's one of your favorite recurring lessons learned that travel teaches you regularly?
Oh my. I think the most fun thing is to get comfortable with things going wrong on travel. There's always going to be something. It might be that you arrive and there's no booking for your hotel, like what happened to my friend Philippe yesterday. Yes. Or you travel and you find, you forgot the cash and there are no ATMs, which is what happened to me in Liberia like 2 years ago. I had gone there. We were launching a new project on how supply chain, community healthcare workers can actually extend the supply chain into people's homes. Yeah. And I did not have cash, and my ATM cards were not compatible with.
That's a big problem.
It was a big problem, but you know what? That is where relationships, networks, technology come in handy. Yeah. There's always a solution, so it doesn't matter what goes wrong.
There's always a solution. That is right. Great story. And you know what? Even when there are problems, extending that grace, whether it's the airline reps or whomever else. So, all right, Katrina, how about you? What's one of your favorite lessons learned from travel?
I think one of the things that always comes across when I travel is just how much I do not know. And I love questioning where my own perceptions come from, and then realizing just how big the world is and how different people are, different cultures are, and just reminding myself to be curious about learning more. And I think that when we travel, particularly work, we spend a lot of time in a hotel. Sure. And we then in a conference room. And I think what I try to do a lot more now is when I go visit countries, actually get out in the country, go see the healthcare systems, go see the health posts, the hospitals, and see what it's really like for everyday people, and try and get out of the conference hotel venue and
out of the bubble.
Out of the bubble.
I love that. I love that. Go and see. I love that approach too. Kind of reminds me of the term Gemba.
Gemba, yes, right? So call it Gemba, yeah.
I love that. That's where the really some of life's best lessons are with the folks that create the value, right? They're the masters. All right, well, we could do the whole show on y'all's travel lessons learned, but we got to move on. And I want to do this. I want to, Tiwonge, I think a lot of our audience members may remember your earlier appearances, but because for our newer audience members and our goldfish attention spans and memories, I want to make sure folks are familiar with both of y'all. So Tiwonge, if you would share a little bit about your professional journey again.
Sure, no problem. So I'm a supply chain specialist, public health supply chain specifically, focusing on healthcare. I've been working with governments, non-governmental organizations, donors for 20 odd years now.
Really?
It feels shocking actually when I added that up.
You started when you were 2 years old.
I'm going to pretend it's 20. So I have approached this issue from different sides. I spent a lot of time with what we would call an implementing partner, so Management Sciences for Health, as well as Village Reach, really at the front lines, working with government officials at the national, provincial, and health facility level, and learning so much through that. Also spent time with the US government on their donor program. So it's been an amazing 20 years of seeing a lot of evolution in the healthcare system. And I am honored really to be contributing a small part to that with my time.
I'm sure it's a lot bigger than you're suggesting. A lot of humility over here, but when's the book coming out for that 20 years?
Soon. We're talking to Netflix.
Okay. All right. So for some reason, I don't doubt that. All right. So Katrina, how about yourself? Tell us about your journey.
So I am also a supply chain geek, but I didn't enter supply chain with intent. I actually studied science and then started working in a lab. Most of my career was spent in private sector supply chain. So I worked in big pharma, started in the lab and realized that the people in the supply chain roles always knew what was going on, and I'm quite nosy. So I moved into supply chain, started right at the bottom as a materials requirement planner, and was fortunate enough to work for a big company that gave me opportunities to move and work across the end-to-end supply chain in various leadership roles, operational roles. And then I came to Africa for the first time on a 6-month NGO volunteer placement, fell in love, and I've been here ever since. So my family, both my children were born here. And then I was able to take some of my supply chain experience from working in private sector and apply it into the development and public health space. And that's my sweet spot. So I found my passion. And that's what I often advise other people, like find something that makes you want to get up in the morning and then go work for somebody that you want to work for.
I love that, Katrina. Obviously, you found your passion. Now, I got a $1 billion question for you. Is science or supply chain tougher?
I think supply chain is science.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that. I hope not, because I was not good at science. All right, so now that we have a better appreciation for your journeys and your global views and some of your expertise at least, I want to get into a great session that Tiwonge and Katrina, you're holding here soon. I think tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. You're both facilitating a Women in Supply Chain session here at SAPICS 2025. You've got like a rock and roll panel of 3 female leaders, and we got 2 dynamos in terms of facilitators, so that's a must-see session. I bet there's going to be standing room only. As folks leave that session tomorrow, what's 1 or 2 things that you really hope they take away, no matter what walk of life, no matter where they're from? What do you want to stick with them, Tiwonge?
I think what's important for me is really more a message to the women and the young women specifically, that it's possible and there are actually spaces for them in this world. I've spoken to so many young women who don't understand it, or they have this weird voice between their ears that says, well, there's no space for me there. And I think for me, whatever happens, that's the one thing that I want people to remember. There is space for the women, and the young women specifically, at the table, and they need to step up and take it.
Oh, Tiwonge, I love that. And hopefully you'll have some new ambassadors to amplify those voices out in communities everywhere, to folks leaving that session tomorrow. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope so. And I think also, you mentioned standing room only. Last year, we had a packed room. We literally had to be stealing chairs from other rooms to try and pack people in. But I think for me, it's just a key reminder that people are there to support the message, to support the journey. And it was a mix. It was men, it's women. The people are there. The expertise is there. The willingness is there to make this work. And so that's why I remain very excited and confident that sessions like these, conversations like these going forward are going to continue making sure that the evolution continues for the space.
I like that practical optimism, and I agree with you, and that is great. Better than good news, great news, Tiwonge. Katrina, same question. What do you want folks leaving with between the ears?
So I think one of the key messages that I'd like people to take out of the session tomorrow is the understanding what unconscious bias is in terms of gender. I think that there are lots of characteristics that we naturally associate with good leadership. They're assertiveness and confidence and able to make quick, decisive decisions. And often there are odds with the characteristics that we define as the societal norms for people who identify as female. And I think that that leads to women being judged more harshly than their male counterparts, which results in them not being offered jobs, not being seen as nice to work with, and also sometimes getting lower salary offers. And this applies to men and women. We all judge women more harshly. We seem to have a struggle liking strong, confident women. So I'd like everyone in the room to sort of think about whether or not some of their biases are impacting their ability to utilize the amazing talent that they have in the room. And I think the second thing is the importance of male allyship. So we had some amazing, lots of supportive men in the room last year. And I think that the research shows that organizations that have gender equity supported by men are 96% more likely to see beneficial business impacts compared to less than 30% where men are not involved. So this is not about men versus women. It's how we can have a more equitable world overall.
I like it. And industry will win.
Industry will win.
As we can continue to make those changes and create opportunities for all in industry and opportunities for advancement. And we see, I like how she said the research shows, the data shows, I love that. We like to take data into conversations in supply chain, don't we? So important. And the industry will get better as we continue to make opportunities. It fuels innovation, research shows that. It fuels our better ability to knock the socks off our customers, which is kind of important in global supply chain, and a whole bunch more. So that is a must-see session. I can't wait to hear what folks take out of that. Let's talk a little more about global healthcare supply chain and its ecosystem for a second, especially given both of y'all's experience. As y'all have your conversations with practitioners in other sectors of global supply chain, or folks just outside of supply chain doesn't know healthcare all that well, what regular misconceptions, or maybe even little known aspects about healthcare and healthcare supply chain do y'all regularly uncover, Tiwonge?
I was thinking about this question last night, and I kept thinking about how, yes, there's a lot of misconceptions generally, but this year specifically, given everything that's happened with the changes in US government funding for this space, there's almost this sense of, oh no, things are falling apart. And I think that is one misconception. Not everything is falling apart. Over the years, there's a lot of work that's been done by people like Katrina, different organizations, and the systems are actually holding steady.
Okay.
And I think for me, the most amazing thing has been talking to people. I had a real honor to be part of a round table where we brought together with Village Reach. I'm doing some work with them now. Village Reach, yes, exactly. Yes. So we brought together government champions who have been leading, well, basically they're leaders in supply chains in their respective countries. And one thing that struck me was some insights from the team from Kenya specifically, who kept talking about how, given everything and all of the changes that have happened this year, we are actually holding steady. We are integrating our skills and the processes to get the best and the most out of what they had. And that for me was a turning point, because I confess I was also in that camp of, oh no, things are falling apart and my world is ending, but actually not. And I think it's something that all of us in this industry and the globe as a whole need to recognize. The systems are holding steady. The people are making the changes, leveraging the resources that they have to make it work. So
that's wonderful news. Built to last is one theme that comes to my mind as I heard you explain. And you know, it's ups and downs. Nothing's permanent. I think the constructive optimist that I think a lot of supply chain folks have to have as we navigate the hurdles it's just a chapter, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead. We'll see. But I love the systems are built. They're withstanding these times, and there's better times ahead. Katrina, same question. Global healthcare supply chain, it's foreign to a lot of folks. What do you find surprises folks about it?
So if I think back to before COVID, and I told people that I was a supply chain professional, supply chain was not in the average person's lexicon.
Right.
Whereas I think post-COVID, everyone has a concept of what supply chain is. But I still think people think supply chain is trucks and warehouses. And
Which are cool.
Which
right?
are cool.
Cool.
Very important. But I think one of the things I'd love people to understand is the length of a typical medicine supply chain can be up to 2 years long. So from making the starting materials that go into the active pharmaceutical ingredients that then go to another manufacturing facility where they're made into tablets or capsules, and then go to the warehouse and the trucks. And the people doing these supply chain jobs are thinking 2 years in advance, what is that patient going to need when they go to the pharmacy? And what does that mean in terms of how much I need, how many trucks I need, how much warehouse space I need, how much production capacity I need? And
It's a big equation.
It's a big equation. And so supply chain is so much more than the physical logistics piece. It's the data, it's the visibility and the scenario planning. And this supply chain for me is the problem solving, but years ahead.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And it's, we use this phrase end to end a lot, but we got to come up with a bigger one, a better one, because almost that sounds too simple, right? End to end. It's so holistic, and it's this massive equation that so much has to go right, especially when we're talking about healthcare, when you got lives at stake, right? And the supply chain behind the care that creates better things and better outcomes for families and our loved ones. It is so incredibly important that all those things you just mentioned go right and the right decisions are made over a long period of time and lots of planning ahead of time. So good stuff. We could get comfortable. We're going to be here for 6 more hours talking this stuff here. All right. I want to talk about, is it AMTH?
AMTH.
AMTH, okay. And that's the acronym, I believe. We'll ask you what acronym, AHMTEC, AMTH. So tell us what it is. Let's start with just defining it first, Katrina.
Sure. So African Healthcare Manufacturing Trade Exhibition and Conference.
Okay, I like it. I like it. We love our acronyms.
Yes. AMTH was a trade exhibition conference. We had the inaugural session in Tanzania last year. But less than 30% of the medicines that are consumed on the African continent are actually manufactured here. Okay. So the AMTH conference was a vision. It's a partnership between Missouri Health Dynamics and FATMA, which is the Federation of Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Associations across the continent.
All right.
They came together to say, to recognize that to accelerate the progress of manufacturing on the continent, we needed to hear more from the manufacturers themselves. So there's been so much effort, investment, and conversation about accelerating medicine manufacturing, but many of the conferences, the meetings, the sessions that were held didn't actually have the manufacturers in the room.
All the right voices,
didn't have
enough of the voices in the room?
So AMTH was created to address that. So it's a conference for African health manufacturers by African health manufacturers.
Love it.
And the intent is to hear from the manufacturers themselves. What are the problems that you need help solving? What are some of the big consistent barriers? And hearing from them in terms of who they want time with, and setting them up with different organizations who can help them. So investors, regulators, governments, buyers, to try and accelerate progress in that space.
Okay, we need to make a lot of progress in that entire big space. Tiwonge, now you're involved, I think, as maybe as a volunteer or a leader or what have you. Why is this, what Katrina just shared, why is it important?
I think for me, it's about everything coming together at the right time. So Katrina mentioned this particular conference is about bringing together the manufacturers and understanding what's happening in their space, what they're facing and the challenges. But it's also a really amazing time in that in order to leverage buying from manufacturers here in Africa, somebody needs to buy.
Right. Generate some demand, right?
You know? But it's coming at a time when, for the first time, the Global Fund bought ARVs from, in a sizable quantity, from a Kenyan manufacturer. On the regulatory front, the African Medicines Agency, which is meant to be a platform for harmonizing the registration of products for this continent, is coming to life. There's the new leader who's been appointed for its CEO. And so the regulatory side is coming together. The manufacturer side is coming together. So the environment is getting right to make a big shift. And another conversation that's happening during this conference as well is, how do we now buy better as a continent to not only be catalytic, to take advantage of this evolving ability to manufacture, but also to just get more with what we have. So buy regional, yes. Buy local, yes. Leverage global as much as you can, yes. And so all of those pieces are coming together now, which I find very exciting. And I think it's a lot of us in this industry are working hard towards that to make sure that it actually works for the people that we are meant to be serving.
I love it. It sounds like a true transformative movement, right?
It's a movement more than a conference, for sure.
I love it. I love it. All right, so we look forward for getting updates on the great work that AMTH is doing. Really quick, how can folks get involved and support, be a formal contributor to AMTH?
So my team are the engine, working with the Uphaven team to organise the conference, so they can get in touch with myself or with Jenny. And we are at the point now where we're looking for sponsors. There's exhibition opportunities, and the conference will be held this year in Accra in Ghana in October. Okay. And so, yeah, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to share details.
Wonderful, wonderful. And by Jenny, you're talking about the one and only Jenny Fruit.
The one and
amazing
only.
Jenny, we love you out there.
The ultimate woman in the
Oh, yes.
chain.
That's right. Very humble. She's way too humble, isn't she?
Way too humble.
Okay, and we're going to make sure, folks, y'all have Tiwonge's and Katrina's point of contact here in just a second. But I got one more big question for y'all both. And I think it's a perfect time to ask it, given the movement that y'all are supporting and leading that's changing the manufacturing scene and so much else here across the continent of Africa. So many different countries and customs and communities and sectors, and so much change, right? And so much innovation that I've come across a lot in our series that we've been doing for years now, supply chain leadership across Africa. But still, what is one thing that you feel folks, the rest of the world, should understand when it comes to the supply chain ecosystem across this wonderful continent? Tiwonge.
It has amazing people. The skills are there. We mentioned earlier about finding a new term for end to end.
Yes.
And I think Africa is brimming with talent in pretty much that entire end-to-end chain,
yes,
from the researchers to the pharmacist assistants who are interacting with patients. And so, yeah, the talent is there to be leveraged for new opportunities, for investment, and growth. So that, I think, is something to know.
Back to the people. I love that. I love that. All right, Katrina, same question. What should folks...
We should have aligned, shouldn't we? No, I was going to say people as well. I think having a career in supply chain, it's great to have a technical speciality. Often opens the door. But what I find actually moves things over the line is change management, engagement with people. And in Africa in particular, compared to anywhere else I've worked, people are resourceful. They are entrepreneurial. they are used to working in resource-constrained environments. They're used to having poor road infrastructure, like electricity going down. They're used to not having to rely on technology and data systems, so they are able to make a plan. And I think that I've learned far more from working in those types of environments and working in high resource settings where people start to lose some of their skills because they're so reliant on the computers and technology and processes that underpin them. And so I met Tiwonge when I came here, and she's one of my coaches. So I think, yeah, exactly as Tiwonge said, there's an amazing amount of skill and resourcefulness in this continent.
Completely agree. And you got Tiwonge to work alongside and learn from every day. I am jealous.
And Jenny.
I am jealous. And Jenny too, that's right. Okay, let's do this as I promised. I want to make sure folks know how to connect with both of y'all to learn more about anything y'all shared here in this brief interview. That doesn't do y'all's incredible journeys justice, but we'll have to have you back. Katrina Tyson with Health for Development, start with you. How can folks connect with you about your organization or about AMTH that we talked about earlier?
So as we said, Tiwonge and I are doing the Women in Supply Chain Leadership session tomorrow. Directly after that session, SAPICS have organised a networking event for women. So you can come and find me at that event. And I've put my name onto the list of people who are looking for a mentor. So if you are looking for a mentor, I am available. And also you can find me through the app, the conference app.
Outstanding. Now, one quick follow-up for folks out there that may be listening or viewing this conversation months down the line. How can folks find you elsewhere? Email or LinkedIn? Or
yeah, I'm on LinkedIn or email. So Katrina@healthfordevelopment.com.
Okay.
Nice and simple.
It's just that easy.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Katrina Tyson, I appreciate your time here. Tiwonge, same question. How can folks track you down if they want to be coached and mentored or anything else by the one and only Tiwonge?
Absolutely. I'm always happy to talk to people, to learn from, and share whatever I have to learn. So whatever I have to share. Tiwonge Batze on LinkedIn is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. I'm usually quite quick, so looking forward to connecting with people.
Well, we'll try to make it even easier and include your profiles in the show notes. So Tiwonge Batze, independent supply chain consultant and industry leader. So nice to see you again, Tiwonge.
Meet you. You too.
And Katrina, great to meet you for the first time. Really enjoyed learning from both of y'all here. And best of luck as y'all continue doing big things out in the industry.
Thank you.
Thank
Scott.
you.
You bet. Folks, hopefully you enjoyed this session here at SAPICS 2025 as we continue to cover as many of the goings on as we can get, meeting with the movers and shakers like these two. Stick around as we continue to cover the conference, and we will see you really, really soon. Scott Luton with Supply Chain Now, signing off for now.